Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 10 at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Oaks Friday, the Grade 2 Twin Spires Turf Sprint, 5.5 furlongs on the lawn. Before we get to the analysis, head on over to DRF.com. Get tied on with your one-stop Derby shop. Derby packages include past performances, betting strategies, clocker reports, and lots more. Learn more at DRF.com. Here's the field for the Twin Spires Turf Sprint. And we have last year's winner of this race, Mike. The 9 Diamond Oops won this race when it was contested over the fall. He is just such a versatile horse, whether it's dirt or turf or distance.
True enough. I mean, it feels like he can do anything. You don't worry about him switching back to turf for this day. And I guess what you would worry about with Diamond Oops is that the last time we saw him in December, he failed to pick his feet up.
That's a very, very good point. And also likes to come from off the pace. He'll need some pace. He'll need some racing luck. And as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, they don't have a red bar scenario, Mike. I have a feeling this pace could heat up. Johnny Unleashed, I think, has to be on ascend. Faya is very fast. Just Might is very fast. I wouldn't be surprised if those three hook up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I won't be surprised if this pace turns out to be pretty fast. I mean, we'll see what happens. It feels like there's no real upside in projecting or predicting fast paces in these races, but it feels like there's a real chance some of these horses could go.
Johnny Unleashed returned to turf in his most recent race, and he ran great at 92-1 in the Grade 2 Shakertown. He set a very fast pace. He was only beaten 3 lengths by some good turf horses, Bound for Nowhere, Imprimis. It'll be just interesting what sort of trip he gets from the inside here, and if they let him go.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, there are, as you already pointed out, there are a couple of other fast horses to his outside. So, we'll see what kind of trip he can pull here from the rail. But he did really, really outrun his odds last time.
Gildsman's a graded stakes winner going 6.5 at Kentucky Downs, a distance that might play a little bit longer. I do wonder if this distance is a little bit sharp for Gildsman, a horse that, as you can see, likes to come from the back of the pack. Even performance in his one start on turf this year at Keeneland.
Yeah, he didn't do much running at all last time, although that was a race that was sort of dominated up on the lead by Maven. I don't know, Dan. I mean, this horse is okay, and maybe he'll catch something to really run at here, and it'll make a little bit of a difference. I just don't see the one race he's run since he got over here that makes me want to bet him.
The Maryland-bred number 3, Faya, red hot since switching to turf. 5 for 5 on the surface. Big figs as well. Let's watch the Claiming Crown Canterbury. Just a great spot to put this horse in. He went right to the front in here. He took no prisoners. He earned a 96 buyer speed figure. This is a horse that's very fast and very talented.
He really is. I mean, undefeated, as you say, sprinting on the turf so far. He's just run really, really well in all of those races. And listen, he's taken a step up in class here, Dan. I mean, it feels like he's really going to get a little bit of a test maybe for the first time here. But even with that being said, it's not like he found the toughest turf sprinters around here. I mean, there's no Bound for Nowhere. There's no Imprimis. There's no Leinster. I mean, he's facing a good field, but it's not as tough a field as it could have been.
The 4 Classy John might have found a home sprinting on the turf for trainer Dallas Stewart. They've run him 3 times, and he's come close in his last 2, including a victory in the Costa Rising Stakes last time out. Now, the Costa Rising, it just didn't feature a very fast pace at 29-1. And this gelding, I thought, got a really nice ride up close to the pace. They're going to be going a lot faster, I think, this time around, so we'll have a lot more to overcome.
Right. I mean, he'll probably be a big price again. So I'm not going to knock this horse. He just, his win last time was just more game than anything else in a race where, the big heavy favorite and there are no paroles, a dirt horse. And it just feels like he didn't fire his best shot on grass.
Just Might didn't fire his best shot last time out in the Shakertown, chasing that fast pace and tiring. Maybe he didn't care for the give in the ground. I don't think he loves a wet turf course, although you can argue he might have run the best race in this turf sprint last year at Churchill Downs on a very fast pace, only to succumb late to the closers.
It's a very good point. He did do a lot of running last time. The horse he was dueling with on the lead in there finished last, and this horse was still there in deep stretch. He did run really well. I got to be honest, I respect his speed a great deal, and he's a very consistent horse. I'm a little bit tired of him. I mean, he is a horse who feels like he never holds on to stretch leads in his races. But man, when he shows up with his good race, he's pretty good.
Ambassador Luna, coming off of a long layoff. This just seems like a tough spot for a horse when last seen on the turf, finished 8th in the Franklin County behind the good mare Got Stormy.
Yeah, I mean, she's run pretty well against Colts once before, but the best race she's ever run was over that super boggy turf course at Ellis Park last year. And other than that, it doesn't feel like her best race is going to make it all that close in here.
We're closing in on 3 years since the number 7 Smart Remarks last win. This is a horse that has some good races, just never seems to get over the top, and the recent form is somewhat concerning.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't feel like he's as good as he used to be. And even when he was good, he had trouble winning races. I mean, you can only have to go back 2 years, Dan, when they ran him in this race, and he ran great, finishing second at a really big price. But that just feels like it was forever ago now.
Last time, the number 8 Fast Boat Race to Churchill Downs here into 104 Buyer speed figure when receiving a brilliant ride. He got sandwiched coming out of the gate, was wisely angled into the pocket position, and everything worked out. And he's coming into this race sharp. Based on this race at Sam Houston on January the 31st, he beats a field that includes 3 next out winners, and he showed off a strong late kick.
Yeah, I like this performance from him, Dan. He fires a good shot down the outside here to run this field over. Really good performance, especially when you consider, I just didn't think his 2 races at the fairgrounds prior to that were nearly as good. I feel like he improved in this race. He has plenty of back races to make him tough in here. This is a horse I feel like you definitely have to use.
Diamond Oops, multiple graded stakes winner on dirt. He won this race last year, and he got a great ride from Florent Giroux. Just everything worked out in that race. He was able to save ground at the back behind a hot pace. He crept up along the inside. He weaved his way through horses. Everything worked out, and everything worked out in his prior turf race, the 2019 Shadwell Turf Mile. We'll watch that race right now where he showed kind of a different dimension. He showed good speed from the start, and he fought all the way down to the wire to just get nipped by Bowie's Hero.
Yeah, he ran great in this race, a grade 1, going a mile on the turf where he actually went a legitimate pace, Dan, and just failed to hold on. He ran well in here. He ran well when he won this race last year, although, as you mentioned, the trip really did kind of work out for him. But still, man, he made up a lot of ground rallying down on the inside. He's just a really good horse. We'll see if he bounces back. The last time we saw him, again, sprinting on the dirt, he didn't run at all. And maybe that's what led to the layoff. I think there's a real chance getting some time off did this horse some good.
Sombaye, the number 10, another horse, solid on dirt, seems to have found himself on turf. Let's watch the grade 3 Sen Simeon last time out, turning back to a 6 furlong distance. And there wasn't a ton of pace in this race. Sombaye is going to run just fine. He's going to be necked out by Gregorian Chant, a horse that's really found himself since turning all the way back in distance. Sombaye shows a lot of fight here. Gregorian Chant gets him, and Gregorian Chant will come back to win his next race with a 98 Buyer.
Yeah, he did. Sombaye did run well in this race. He got a good trip, but he ran really well in there. Gregorian Chant, all of a sudden, has found himself as a turf sprinter. He was only okay routing, and now he's 3 for 3 sprinting on the turf. So he ran into a hot horse last time.
Karatari, the 11, is going to have to work on a trip from a tough post. Let's watch his last race, the Silks Run at Gulfstream Park, where he just went right to the front. He beats a good field, 3 minor next out winners, but I'm not sure this trip is available to him from post 11.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, I guess you could go through his PPs and say, he's run okay in the past without being on the early lead. So we'll just see what kind of trip he gets. Ultimately, Dan, I just felt like maybe he was a cut below the top contenders in this race.
Top pick time for the Twin Spires Turf Sprint. We're both going to keep the faith with Diamond Oops and hope that he can rebound off of a dull performance. I'm really interested to see what we get from Faya as he steps up a little bit out of those restricted races.
Yeah, me too. I think Faya is a very dangerous horse. And I guess we looked at this race almost exactly the same way, Dan. I mean, I put Diamond Oops on top. The 3 and the 8 to me were the other 2 horses.
That's where I'm going. 9-3-8-1. Mike's going 9-3-8-10 in the Twin Spires Turf Sprint on Kentucky Oaks Friday at Churchill Downs.